What you're looking at right now are two unique Facebook ads, and in today's video we're going to show you how you can set up your very first Facebook ad that generates leads for you on the Facebook platform.
Woo!
Let's jump in. First thing that we want to do is make sure we are in our Facebook Ads Manager. From there we want to navigate over to the left hand side and click on the green Create button. This is going to bring up the opportunity for you to select a campaign objective. As a beginner, the most important one you can go for is leads if you are a service-based business, or sales if you are an e-commerce business or selling products online. Let's click on the leads objective for this example and click on the blue continue button down below. Now from here we've got the option to choose between manual and tailored. The best option is to have more control and select manual leads campaign. So let's select the blue continue button and go through to the next stage. There are a couple of different things that have now appeared. We can see the campaign overview up at the top, which is the top section. We have the ad set level, which is the targeting and interests which we are wanting to reach people with, and then the actual ad, which is the third layer of the overall campaign, which is the ad setup which people are going to see once you've completed it. So let's go through the different steps and have a look at the different campaign options available to us as we set it up. Now, the first thing we want to do is give our campaign a good name, just like what I have done here. From here, we want to scroll down, and there are a couple of different things you need to be aware of. The first one is campaign objective, which is leads. Now, in the instance you've selected the wrong campaign objective, you can always select the edit button during the setup stage. Once you've published the campaign, you'll have to set up a new one if you have selected the wrong option. However, if it's still in draft stage, we can change the campaign objective. But we've got the right one here, so we'll move down to the next step, which is our Advantage campaign budget. So if you want to have the budget running at the campaign level rather than the ad set level, you just click on the gray button and wait for it to turn blue, and that will then run your ad at the campaign level. So if you're not quite sure on which targeting ad group will work more effectively, you can give Facebook's algorithm a chance to do the testing for you. But I don't recommend it. I recommend keeping it off and going into the next section, which is down at the ad set level. Now, the first thing we need to select is the conversion location. Now, in this example, I'm assuming that you're wanting to generate leads on the Facebook platform rather than your website. So right here, we've selected instant forms. So that will then give us an opportunity to get people to complete a form when they see an ad like the one below and click on the call to action button. So we zoom out and we come down to select our correct Facebook page, and we can also look at our performance goal. So we can try and get as many leads as possible, or we can get as many leads that are conversion leads. I'd recommend the first one simply because we want to give Facebook time to select people that are most likely to be in the right headspace to receive your content. So let's go down to the next option, and we have our budget and schedule. You can choose between a daily budget and a lifetime budget. And it's better to just choose a daily budget because you can slide that number up and down. However, if you're wanting to target people at certain times of the day, going for the lifetime budget may be a better option. Let's keep going. We've got our audience targeting, and we're happy with New Zealand. Now, Advantage Plus Audience is probably the better starting point if you are just getting into the groove of Facebook ads. So you can choose your age group targeting. So let's say we want to go for people that are likely to be business owners between the ages of 27 and 63. And let's say that their interest lies in business. And we can see the interest-based targeting here for business, and also entrepreneurship as well. Now, if you're a bit short of ideas, you can always click on the Browse button, and this provides a window for you to choose different types of interest and demographic based targeting which your target audience may fall into. If we come to the different placements, we can see that there's a whole different range. Now, let's click on manual placements and show you what options are available. The ones that are probably most familiar are the feeds, which is the type of ads you see when you're scrolling in your Facebook newsfeed. And if you are someone that prefers stories and reels, you'll see the targeting placements available here. Now, as a rule of thumb recommendation, I would say to always have Facebook and Instagram feed as your primary targeting option if you've got static image ads. If you have videos, I'd highly recommend you look at having Facebook video feeds, stories, and reels in your targeting mix. Now, the other placements can get you results as well, but just bear in mind that the most important thing is understanding where your ads are going to show up to people and how likely they are to want to receive your content. If it's a static image ad, putting it in the reels and stories is not the most productive way to spend your advertising dollars, and likewise with the other way around. But the best way to get started and understand which platforms are going to respond and get you the most results is just by selecting all of the placements initially. And then we can look at the additional options, which is just around safety and suitability, and also the inventory filters and publisher block lists. We don't need to worry about that for now. Let's go into the ad setup level and give our ad a suitable name. So ad number 1. Now you can see here we've got a bit of a shell campaign set up here, and we've got the ad set up. So something that is really interesting here is we can either create a new ad or we can use an existing post that has appeared on our Facebook page. We're going to go ahead and select create ad because it's important for you to know the steps involved with this setup. So let's go down to the next one. Now, if you haven't set up a Facebook form before, we can click on create form. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to set up the form which people are going to see when they click on the call to action button on your ad. Coming back to it, we want to see a form type which has got more volume. Great. Let's go to the next section, which is the greeting. So if you want someone to see a welcome message from you, you can highlight the blue button, enter a small headline with something like smart choice. We hope we can help you. Just let us know a few details about what you're wanting to achieve or something like that. I normally go through to just the next stage, and I like to ask a couple of screening questions. So for example, some of the questions that I like to ask people who are looking for help with paid marketing is, what is your budget? What sort of budget do you normally go with? And once I've done that, I provide a couple of answers, and the way in which you can add answer options in is just by clicking the plus button. And if you want to reduce the number of answers available, you can always select the minus button. And that then shows up here as what someone will see when they're clicking on the form. Now, once we've done that, we come down to the contact information, and you can edit and adjust the fields based on what information you need to know about somebody. And we've also got the option to say whether the answer is optional or required. So generally it's better to leave it open because you can see here having it as a requirement allows you to screen whether or not someone is a good candidate or a bad candidate for the services that you're offering. So looking here, we've got the full name, email, region, country. That's all great. If you want to get some additional information out of someone here, you can always seek it by hovering your mouse over the different fields here and looking at what you're after. So say, for example, you want to know where someone is based. Perhaps you are running an in-person event. You can select street address as an option as well, or city. Now, coming down to the next section, which we've just clicked on, we just add in our privacy policy, which is important. So if you've got a website, use that as your privacy policy option. Otherwise, if you don't have a website yet, make sure you just complete a Google Doc which has a privacy policy write-up and a link to it in the link section here. And once you've done that, we can click on the next option, and then you'll have an autofill option, which is, thanks, you're all set. You can visit our website or exit the form now. If this is not appearing for your messenger lead, just fill it in. It's quite simple and self-explanatory. And here's a perfect example that you can use. Have the additional option of go to the website or view file or call business. And again, if you have a website, I'd recommend you send people to the website. Otherwise, get them to just view a file or call your business. So once you've done that and entered in the call to action and link, we can go to create form. And congratulations, what this has now done is given you a form that people can click on as a response to your ad. So let's come down to the ad creative section, which is the setup and framework of what your ad will look like. So you've got the image options, we've got the primary text, which appears above the image or video you have, and the headline, which shows up underneath the image or headline. So if we enter in our primary text, for example, we've got the option that has been entered in here, and we can now see it appearing above the image. We've got our headline, which we can just enter in right now, and what this is now going to do is show up underneath it. We've got our call to action button, which is currently sign up. A more suitable option here would be get quote, because we're wanting to gauge the interests of people that are wanting help with paid advertising. So let's zoom out and scroll back up to the images one, and let's just remove the media altogether and select the add media option. We can choose between image and video options. Let's select image, and from here we've got the text options again. You may see this set up with the new Facebook ads format, and it allows you to add additional text and headline options into your ad. So Facebook may show multiple combinations of the different primary text and headline options. So let's click on the blue next button and go through to our media files and select the image which we're after. If you're wanting to upload an image for the first time, you can just click on the upload button here with the plus sign next to it. Fortunately, I've already uploaded a few images in, so I'm going to go into the See All section and look for the correct image which I want to have running in the ads. So let's select an option which is most suitable for us, and that can be our little image here as an example. And we can now preview and look at what it's going to look like. So here it is what it will look like in square version. Here's what it will look like as a Facebook and Instagram story. And here's the one for the horizontal. So this is often right-hand columns and apps and site placements. So let's say we're happy with that, and then we go next. We don't want to worry about AI image generation for now. Let's just select skip and continue. For the optimizations, I would recommend initially that you turn all of them off. And the reason for that is because you want to see how effective and persuasive your ad is to your target market without any additional help. Because if the ad message and offer and creatives are strong enough without optimizations, they will perform even better once you turn some of those optimizations on. We can see now that we have a good preview ad here, and it's looking absolutely sharp and fantastic. So once we've gone through all of this setup stage, we want to go down and make sure that our tracking is turned on. So we want to turn on the website pixel tracking, and this is important so you can measure and see how many people have engaged with your content on an ongoing basis and retarget to them later on. And remember, the one golden rule about a Facebook pixel is that you need to have a website in order to have a Facebook pixel for tracking, because it is a piece of code that goes onto your website. So once that's been done and we've selected the tracking pixel, we can do one final review of everything to make sure it is set up in the way that we want it to at ad level, and also at ad set level, and at the campaign level. And once we're happy with that, we go into the ad section. We look for the green publish button down at the bottom and we click on publish. And congratulations, your ad is now going to be published, and after a review from Facebook, it should be live and running within 1 to 24 hours. And that's all there is with running and setting up Facebook ads. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, consider subscribing to my channel for ongoing digital marketing tutorials and updates, and hit that like button for support. It really helps the channel immensely. Have a fantastic day, everybody, and we'll talk soon. And one final thing as well, if you are looking for professional help with running your Facebook ads, you can always get in touch with me by visiting www.paidadvertisinghelp.com for a free quote.